Hey guys, it's Lindy Marie from Inner Spring Studio, and I want to welcome you to this quick tutorial on a homegrown watercolor garden wreath. This is inspired by a very fun baby shower theme that my daughter had for her newborn baby boy. We just welcomed him into the world this past week. He was a month early. So we're just filled with joy, and I'm kind of on a roll with the little baby carrots, baby peas, etc. And I thought it'd be fun to share my joy with you and make one of these very whimsical, splashy, gestural, loosey-goosey watercolor garden wreaths featuring some of these sweet little baby carrots and peas. I'm even throwing in some strawberries and some watermelon. I'm using a basic palette of blue, yellow, and red so that all the colors on the wreath are going to have some harmony running through them. It's not a pretentious piece. It's just, look at the basic shapes. For the carrots, they're just some elongated triangles. The watermelon are just a little rounded edges, triangles too. Little blobbies for our strawberries. This is technical. Not. We're using terms like blobbies. I think we're on the track for having some fun. And that's exactly what I like to share with you, right? Is fun and easy techniques to set your creativity loose. Get out of your head, experiment, play, set some music on, light a candle, pour yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee, and have a moment that's all your own in a little space that you've created in a very short amount of time so that you can engage in your creativity. And I'm doing a lot of close-ups here so that you can see, because they're very small, and this is just a small format too. The card is maybe 4x6. It's 100% Arches watercolor paper, 100% cotton Arches watercolor paper, and I like to use that because I feel like there are some supplies that help me to stay engaged. So I have used other watercolor papers that aren't cotton, and it's great. It's wonderful. But I really, really love the results with the 100% cotton paper. So this is just something to keep in mind. You don't have to use the 100% cotton. Use what you have and just begin. That's really what I am hoping you will do. Don't let any of the supplies keep you from starting and exploring. I'm just sharing what I'm using here, and these are Winsor Newton gouache, which is a more intensely pigmented watercolor in the primaries, red, yellow, and blue. I simply add water to get lighter pigments, and then less water to get richer pigments. So you can really have quite the range in your palette just from these three primaries. And you can also note that I'm not focusing a lot on detail. It's really about capturing just the shapes. I'm really moving around a lot, not staying in one spot or staying on one of these fruits or veggies for too long. Kind of get in the flow, keep it moving so you don't get stuck, and every now and then have a little look. Let some of these dry and then go back into them to add some depth. Like you see here, I started with a very light orange, and now I'm going back in with a richer orange to give some contrast. It's also fun to overlap them because they are on a wreath, so they're kind of just crowding around this circle that I created using a glass, just painting the rim of the glass and then stamping it onto the paper. So I had a nice little circle to follow, and you just keep spinning it, going around, adding some texture, adding some value. You can really see the texture of this cotton paper. And I'll leave some links in my description for you, so if you want to check them out for the gouache and the watercolor paper. The brush I'm using is a Princeton round. It's like a 6, I believe. It's a great size, very versatile. If you have this brush, you can really get a lot of mileage from it. You're really good to go with just this size. So I'm just adding some seeds now. I am not using black at all. These might look black, but I believe I mixed a little bit of red with the blue to get like a really rich purple. So there is no black and no white used in this palette, simply mixing colors from the primaries to get the range in my palette without having to use a black or a white. And I think it's a little softer, a little less harsh than going stark black or white. You can use it if that's what your vibe is, then by all means go for it. And don't be afraid to let some of the white paper stay blank. Let it kind of pop through to get the whites without having to add white paint. Some greenery, some leaves to fill in the gaps. And then again, I'll let them dry and I'll work back into them with little vines, and you can add some little curly cues. And there's always this point in a painting where, I mean, I'm sure you noticed, it's like, ooh, this is kind of sparse, or I'm not really liking the way this is looking. It's kind of the awkward stage. But as you give the layers time to dry, and then you go back in and add your contrasting colors and values, it'll start to really take shape and be much more pleasing to the eye. But I really like the playfulness of this. I like that it's not stiff and photographic. And here you'll even notice I went way too dark here. And it's like, whoa, what did I do there? So I just took my napkin, my paper towel, and dabbed it up, give it a little moment to dry, so I go on and work on some other areas of the wreath, and then I can come back in once it's dried and correct it. There's really, no right or wrong. Maybe you want them to be super dark. You can add less water, and it's really, the more you do it, the more you play with adding the water to the pigment, the more comfortable you get. And you kind of get a feel for how much water is required to get the values you want. But it's all learning by doing, and I think sometimes it's great to have a practice like this where you set the timer for 10 or 15 minutes and you just paint. You know, maybe you don't want to do vegetables. Maybe you just want to do little blob flowers in various colors all around the little circle, and play with the brush strokes, play with the values, and see what you come up with. And by the end of that 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to feel more confident because you spent some time with your art supplies. You're going to feel more peaceful because you allowed your artistic spirit to activate. You honored yourself in that way, and you're going to be inspired, and you're going to want to keep going. And a small format like this is great because you can experiment a lot, and then maybe you can, if you like something that you do, you can take it to a larger format. So these are just the sweetest. I just love these little fruits and veggies. I think they're just precious. Like my little grandbaby. I have 3 now. I'm a happy grandma. And there's so much to celebrate. Life is good. There's, so much going on in our world that can sometimes discourage us, but we can find peace and inspiration and joy in our creativity, and we can share it with others to lift them up as well. Who'd have thought that little tiny strawberries, baby peas and baby carrots, and itty bitty watermelons could spark some joy? So after you've filled up your circle, your wreath is looking more complete, you can do some embellishments by just adding some little berries in a bright red all the way around, kind of breaking up the veggies with these little threesomes of berries going all the way around. You'll see as it dries, you can go back in and add some more details, kind of picking and choosing what motifs you want to pop more. Maybe adding some more greenery. And then again, you have some little seeds for the berries. There it is, folks. A lovely homegrown watercolor garden wreath. Can't wait to see what you make. Be sure to post it on my Facebook page at Inner Spring Studio. Thanks for joining me for another wonderful creative burst sesh. Keep making your art, and I'll see you real soon.